Does that say anything on it? It should be recording now.
It's going up and down, yeah, I think it's on, yeah.
Right, that's fine, that's okay. I'll put it in the pocket.
So we're going to
go. Right, go on your shoulder.
Right, okay, David, we're going to try and get across this road.
Right.
Right. It's completely grey.
Yeah.
There is traffic coming now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to step out because I don't want to step out in front of moving traffic. There's no way.
Well, I don't mind. I'll see if I'll do that if you like. We'll see if they stop.
Right, we're going to go.
Okay.
So we're going to go over the. It's all grey now. There's no traffic coming. It's all grey. We're going across the shared space area.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come to where the path is.
Are we in the roadway now or on the footway?
Just left the roadway.
Right.
And now we're actually.
Is this tarmac or is this paving here?
This is paving. So you've got grey as the shared space, the path area, and there's no curb whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's all, well, it's grey to the right. You've got one little strip that is actually a lighter grey. I can hear that. I think we've got a bus behind us. There's actually now we've got a van parked on the courtesy crossing. We've got other people waiting at the courtesy crossing, and I really do not like this at all. We're coming now onto the courtesy crossing, so can you feel any tactile?
Yes, I'm standing on the tactile, yes.
Right, okay, we've got the tactile.
Right, so...
Can you just... We're here now on the tactile with the courtesy crossing.
Yeah.
I can see, and I can actually see that there's a service van on a courtesy crossing that has no legal definition in the UK.
Right, so this here is the crossing in front of me.
It's a courtesy crossing.
Yeah, and this is paved in brick pavers.
Yeah, there's brick pavers. So we've got a dark grey to the left, we've got the brick pavers, and then we've got the tarmac to the right.
Right.
But again, we have a service vehicle that is parked on a crossing that isn't a crossing, but this is where the planners think it's the so-called safest place for you to cross.
Well, if you like, I can walk across by myself here now. If there's a vehicle there, I will actually find the vehicle probably. Can I do that?
Well, if you want to.
I'm walking across now. I don't know what's in front of me, and I hope that I'm walking straight across the crossing, but maybe I'm drifting to one side or the other. Now, I've got something here. This is a big, these are big metal and plastic panels here, and there's a, is this a van?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a van I've just found, right.
Right, and that's into the cafe. Just they've got the.
So this is they've got seats outside, have they?
Yeah,
then?
so they've got proper bars to stop you going.
So this is the barrier with the seating area beyond it, right? So if I walk along this way, I can come to the end of the barrier.
The mic's on the light.
What's this? There's a bus going around.
Oh, hold on.
Sorry,
You're going to hit me now. Fine. Yeah.
Actually, it'll be interesting to see.
Okay, let me just move.
Are you going to put
Don't
on yourself?
Sorry. There you go. There you go, then.
Yeah, stop it.
okay.
That's going to be regular cars.
Now I'm walking alongside something here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if people How did you sense that was there?
What?
That lorry? The van?
Well, I caught it with my cane and put my hand out, and I could feel something metal, and I didn't know what it was. And so as I went to the end, I found a handle, so I worked out it was a vehicle. But
Is that all right?
What do you think? Should we put them on the bench now?
Yeah.
And then maybe get a shot of cars coming past
Yeah.
on the bench?
Yeah, just a quick one as well. I did tell the guy, Robert,
Yes.
Lord Chris Holmes, he's actually from Kidderminster. He's in London, I've spoke with him, and he can be filmed if you wanted to film him at Millbank as well, because he's done the report Accidents by Design as well, to say that these
In
schemes...
some ways, this is so good, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, but you see, if we get it all, because he's
Yes.
he's the one that's championing it through the House of Lords and everything, but he will...
Yes.
I've got his mobile number,
Well,
so you
it's
just need to
possibly
doing
on
it.
for a follow-up. I think
Yeah.
I think there's some really good material here so far.
Yeah.
I've
got loads
I think
in
in a
this
way
morning.
sometimes just simple things can, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like even when we were doing the interview with Mr. Hardiman, there was a huge juggernaut going
They're
past
coming
him.
here as well. They're coming from all directions.
And he was like, this thing's towering over him.
And the thing is, I know it's not high volume, but the thing is, what I find, it puts you into that full sense of security.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, also I think one of the valid points, particularly, is if there was a child there, a child could easily just run up and
The taxi driver's saying it's a death trap, so I don't want to be responsible. Do you want a quick boxing?
Yeah. The best way to understand it, if what it's like to be blind, is to wrap a scarf around your head and just walk out when you can't see anything, and you'll very quickly realise the problems.
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's amazing. Maybe David. They're just going to video the taxi man.
Look at this. That's an offence.
Yes. I'm not my outland today.
I think I've got him on. Oh yes, I've got that.
She's had to move out of her van.
Yes, oh she'll have to move, yes, for the car way. Having said that, they are going through slowly. I have to spend some time.
Yeah, but they still need to see it. We'll just have to stop again.
Yeah. And then look, the passenger, always, the pedestrian always waits for the car.
Yes, it's
Never
natural,
the other
isn't
way
it?
around. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a conflict, the pedestrian gives way every time.
Yeah, because they ain't going to win an argument, are you?
No.
I'm not
But the
political,
ruling says that we have the pedestrians have equal right with motorists.
Political, but the town council's not political.
Yeah,
right, so,
no, that's fine.
And this issue isn't political either.
If I can tell you also,
Yeah,
I can. Yeah, definitely.
but we're the only ones
Huge,
that have
huge amounts
highlighted
of European funding have been used to put in these schemes. There's another 16 million just going to Malta.
Yeah.
The whole scheme, the first one that was brought into Britain was the design team were allowed to evaluate their own work. I've got emails from the chief designer to Suffolk County Council telling them to go above the needs of blind people, right?
Really?
I've got the same person doing the same in Bodmin in 2015, and that scheme's just happening, right? You've got a Europe out of... I'm not political, but you've had a Europe that wasn't properly scrutinised with this shared space scheme, and the amount of money that has been used. The rules of the EU pre-2012 or 2013 said that no EU funding can be used that will disable, that it goes against disability or disables people, or sorry, that designs people out of the system. After 2013 or whatever, it's reasonable adjustment. I've got a professor of law from Cambridge that's given me the exact rules. I haven't got time to take them, but you could absolutely rip shreds off it, because we're coming out of Europe now, but we're left with an infrastructure that is not being funded, that's fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
I would love that information,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
possible,
Yeah, yeah.
Put your name.
I'm not going with any political party because I don't. It's not politics, this is
This is
people.
the town council.
Yeah.
We are politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we try to work.
we don't make
Yeah.
it political. We don't make it.
It was you going in the paper yesterday that I got ITV involved.
You've
Yeah.
got to
Phone number on
remember,
there.
there's 18 councillors here, and
Yeah.
not one of them, not one of my other group,
They too, so no.
Well, speak out.
pointed that out and said how bad it was and what it took
Yeah.
us to come and do that.
Yeah,
Even after it's been highlighted to the council,
yeah,
and they said,
Yeah.
oh no, it's wonderful. So we said, okay, if you think it's wonderful,
yeah.
we'll see what the public have to think.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the
that's
best
what
way
it
to
is.
see if it's wonderful is to get people to come out blindfolded and walk across it.
We just
If
sort
you
of
can get
children.
people to walk across it blindfolded, they'll quickly understand what the problems are.
Because
on one of these.
yeah, in the summer.
Somebody summed it up. Go on. Yeah. Look at that.
wow.
Because
That's
I've got
amazing.
the car right away.
What happened?
Did you get that?
What happened?
A bus coming
The
up,
bus
picked
just
his horn
turns in.
at pedestrians. That is absolutely amazing.
Can you see that? Why this is going to be a...
Let him just film. Let him
Well
film.
done, mate.
There's a letter gone into our local paper following an article yesterday saying Are they going to put swings roundabouts up on the ring road, because it seems we're going to be a shared.
Exactly, yes, yes. Well, in Germany they have stopped it all now, and they're going round retrospectively and trying to make them make it safe again.
When you take it out again,
They just spent £2.5 million doing
they'll
this.
spend another 2.5 taking it out.
Hackbridge was only in 18 months. They'd had 3 accidents, and they've had to put crossings all back in.
God, it's bound to, isn't it?
Yeah.
14 have U-turned.
I'd like to know what the other guy said.
It's at Town Council. Yeah. Can you find out who designed it for me,
Yeah.
who the auditors are, and who was auditing it? I want the names of who audited it yesterday. Right? Who was here yesterday?
Yeah.
Right?
It should have been independent, but it might have been the Town Council Planning Department.
Well, somebody's told me, possibly, that the designer was here as well. Now, if a designer came on an audit, that shouldn't happen. But what I want is not to raise any alarm bells yet. I just want to just simply ask the question: who was on the audit team yesterday? Right? Names, full names. Who audited it? Who designed it? And we've got heaps of evidence on all the others, and then we'll start to piece things together. But we've uncovered.
Have you got any backing from any of the MEPs?
We haven't. The reason this is so colossal. The scale of scandal is colossal. I can't. We just can't. David, it's colossal. We can only. There's only so much we can do, and
We know the frustration.
We know,
but we've got the
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for us the start of the frustration, because the public don't get listened to.
Yeah.
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 And until the TV crews turn up, the press turn up, then they're forced to act. And until then, they don't want to know, or unless there's an accident.
Yeah.
And then they're all terribly sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's we've uncovered I termed it the biggest institutionalised discrimination against blind people the UK's ever
I
seen.
can't believe it. See, this is very interesting. So, do you have a card yourself?
What I'll do, if you can let me write my stuff down, I left them all at home. If you've got another card, I'll put my details on, and then I can give you David's as well.
Yeah. Well, Sarah passes me.
Yeah. Don't worry.
I can send you technical documents, guidance documents from the association, but also from the Ministry of Transport as well. And they have sent guidance documents to all the planners and all the designers and traffic engineers. But usually they disregard them, and they have the feeling, and they're quite right, that if they disregard protests, once the scheme goes in, all the protests will go away.
Yes.
And that's how they've worked it for quite a few years now.
They force it upon people.
In actual fact, you'll see more is Transport MEP.
Yes.
In
Well, you know,
Brussels, and she's one of our
Right, okay.
MEPs.
Well, you know, I showed the film
Yeah, I know that.
in Vienna, and this was neat.
We got that on camera.
What I mean?
He sees
Did
a
you?
local and he says he's aware of it, but he hadn't been aware of the bus being there. So I said, well, what if he'd have been a stranger? He said, well, even less aware.
Well, you see,
the
what's happened is there's been a tranquil, because of the delay in the building and the blocks, there's been a period where there's been no traffic, but this has been ready.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, we're
So
talking a
people
couple of
kind of-
months. We're
yes.
talking a couple of months,
Yes.
3 months, 4 months.
People are not
Well,
used to the
no,
traffic.
in fact, the whole area's been shut off. I mean, here, this has been shut off for more than 6 months. So the whole area has been an open space with no traffic. And then suddenly, all this traffic's been injected back in.
Yes.
People, this is sort of what do I do?
I mean, I didn't want to take David, but it was his choice, so I just let you get on with it.
No.
What?
I mean,
I didn't want to.
that's all right. I mean,
I'll
I
drop you
was.
an email then, Sarah.
When I went to Vienna to present, there was an EU lady on stage talking, right, and there was a lady from this lobby group, right? And I asked a question, and I'd had an altercation with this lady the night before, and she went like this to her, and she didn't answer my question. So after I came over, and I went up to her, and I laid into her because I said, you don't know what's happening, and it's just. When you see the research that we've done, you'll be amazed at what's going on. The accidents, the deaths, the blind people that are being discriminated against, the blatant. I've got undercover filming of one of the key people saying that in Wales, the only person he ignores is the blind person. He tells people in Poynton there were 16 empty shops out of 32. I've got 3 accounts of that. There's 80 shops there. His own report said there were only 6 empty shops before it went in. The council's report after said there were 9 empty units all over Poynton. BBC Breakfast covered it Thursday morning, and the designer who pushes this, that we don't personally go up against, he was asked one simple question: how does a deaf, blind person cross the roads? His reaction, go down in history. He starts looking behind him. Oh, I can hear there's no traffic, and he starts walking backwards. But he looks as he's walking backwards, and he says he can hear the traffic. He's become a laughing stock, an absolute laughing stock. But
Can I ask you something? If you had a blind dog,
A guide dog.
guide dog, my daughter breeds them for the blind.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
All right. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How would the dog know?
It doesn't.
This is it. He can't possibly.
On this area, the blind person will turn round and the way they want to go and say forward, and the dog will go. The dog will stop if there's a curb. If there's no curb, he won't stop.
That's what
That's
I
how they're
wondered,
trained, isn't it?
Yeah, they're trying to stop at curbs, and he can also say to the dog, find me a crossing, and the dog will walk along the pavement and find a pedestrian crossing, but if there isn't one, he won't find it. So guide dogs get very confused, and in Coventry they lowered the curbs there, and the guide dogs are trained to treat any change in level of 60 millimetres more as a curb at which they must stop. They lowered their curbs to 25 millimetres, and so the guide dog organisation came in and talked to blind people. They said, look, you must not go into town with your guide dog. If you do, you need to take a sighted person who can guide you and the dog, because that dog won't stop, because as far as he's concerned there are no curbs anywhere.
And can I just ask you two gentlemen, what's your concern about this new shared space?
My concern is that there's going to be a fatality, a serious fatality, and it shouldn't be on anybody's hands this, when it's being highlighted by the public on why it's such a dangerous place now. They've created a shared space that's people and vehicles do not mix. They're normally separated by pavements and curbs. Here is not clearly defined, and as we've seen already this morning, people are very wary. Drivers are concentrating on trying to get where they want to be, and sooner or later this is an accident waiting to happen.
And are you a town councillor?
I'm a town councillor for Kidderminster. The town hall is just over there, that's my office. Yes, and it's a lovely square. However, bad planning, bad ideas, and they haven't thought this through. We've got buses that can't navigate the new area properly, so the risk assessment team need to hang their heads in shame, really.
Would you ever let this happen on a private industry?
Private industry.
Yeah, for health and safety reasons. Would it be shut down immediately?
If it shut, it wouldn't have happened, would it? I'd like to see what kind of risk assessment has been taken and how they came about the decision that it was a safe area. It's not a safe area. The same amount of traffic is going to be coming through here as when it was a normal open road. That cannot happen. You cannot expect the same level of traffic to take place in an undefined, unmarked area where you expect people to navigate and jump out of the way of vehicles.
Are there any restriction signs at the end where traffic come in, tell them to slow down or not to come or anything else?
The only signs just say that it's a restricted zone. There's no warning signs about driving slow or being careful of pedestrians. So drivers have been coming through here for decades. Yeah.
Apart from a couple of months ago,
Apart from a couple of months, but for decades.
But they're all coming back now.
The chaos behind us, delivery van, there's a car illegally parked. But now, for decades, you've been able to park outside the bank.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why people are there now. There's no yellow line. People don't understand the word restricted zone. They understand speed signs. They understand no parking.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they need to do is restrict the traffic through here now and make buses go all the way around. They've got bus stops in the wrong places. We've got one over there, probably the safest. But these here, as you've got they've got to compete with delivery vehicles, taxis, customers for the bank. They have weddings at this town hall. You can have loads of cars coming down here as well now.
Yeah. Well, the problem is shared space means that motorists and vehicles will mix with pedestrians, and everybody will sort out with everybody else who gives way to who by sight. Now that applies to toddlers, and it applies to old people, and it applies to people like me who can't see anything at all. And so a lot of those people are going to get into trouble. Toddlers are not going to negotiate with drivers. If they want to get across the road, they'll look and then they'll run.
Well, when I was young, I don't know any kids that get taught how to use a shared space. They get taught how to cross a road.
They get taught to stop at the curb and look left and look right.
And when they're in a shared space now, they don't stay next to their parents. They run ahead. They run around.
Exactly.
They want to do their own thing. Or they're playing with each other. They're running off, chasing each other, and that's an accident waiting to happen.
It is, definitely.
I don't want to see that happen here.
I imagine when they talk about shared space, it's somewhere which is pedestrianised, but the occasional vehicle can go through very steadily to a shop. But this is a main road. It isn't a back street. This is the main road that links that end of the town to the shops and stuff at the other end here. So it will be as good as a main road.
Yeah.
That's the simplicity of it. It is not a shared service. It is the main road that's been pedestrianised with.
But this is the problem with shared spaces. They did the same thing in Warwick. They put in a number of these pedestrian crossings and things in, but the guy that put these things in, he said in one different town, he said there's now 27,000 vehicles running through this area every 24 hours. Now that's over 1,000 vehicles now. That's about 16 vehicles. That's 16 vehicles a minute. Yeah, but the thing is this: if you go across at night time, you only get one vehicle every 5 minutes, and if you go across that same street in the middle of rush hour, you've got 20 or 30 vehicles an hour.
Hello, David. Could we just do an interview with you too?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Right, we're going to go.
All right, then.
I'm going to carry on to talking.
Sarah, I'll be in touch.
Yeah, and I'll send you all the information.
Dave, is it? Or I forgot your name. Sorry.
Mine, David Bates.
David. Right.
Yep.
Radio mic.
Thank you very much,
you.
David.
Yep.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you as well.
Thank you so much for coming out.
No, thank you.
ITV, we went down to House of Lords in December the 3rd, the UN Day for the Disabled in 2013, and you filmed our premiere and put it all across the network. And then we went to number 10 6 times to get this national inquiry.
Oh, was that your film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well,
Okay, David, we're going.
Yep. Where do we go to now then?
Oh no, that's his own.
oh, right.
Yeah, David records everything. Yeah.
No, he records like a running commentary.
When I'm walking in, I've got several. I've walked in shared spaces, and I usually make a recording to say what I'm detecting and why I'm doing certain things.
Yes.
Which doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but when you can't see where you're going, it's very different.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to get too close to it because they think, oh, the camera!
No, we can go in there. Put one on, Rolco, yeah?
Do the two together. Oh, turn it on, yeah, sorry.
Whereabouts do you want us to sit down?
It's on now. I was going to say on the pavement, but we don't know where that is, do we?
Just stay exactly where you are, right? I'm moving back a bit.
What are they
Can I just
doing?
explain one thing to you? I'm just going to explain about the tactile. With the tactile here, what the planners, I think they've done, is that somebody blind will come across the building line, go feel that tactile there. This is in the planner's mind, and take you up to those bits of tactile to the crossing. But the crossing's a non-crossing, and plus it's their thought that's how safe a blind person can cross the road. That is just, I think it's stupid, David, but...
Yes, well I'll ask you that on camera as well.
Well, Coach, do you want to look a different way this time?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, because we've looked at
this a lot.
Is it okay if we go behind the bench over
Yeah,
there?
yeah,
Okay?
of course it is.
Wherever you want.
Thank you.
Yes.
We're not going to go on the road, Dave. We're going to go up and around. We'll probably get the... What we're doing, you know where we had the photo taken? Oh God, don't get one over for camera. We're going to go back. There's some kids on skateboards and BMXs and everything.
We're crossing the road now, are we?
No, we're off the road. But we're... There's another lady, there's another lady.
Well, apart from where the tactiles and those crossings are, how do drivers know where the pavement is and where the road is? Is it because one's tarmac, is it?
From here, where we're moving on to now, there's a tarmac area, but there's like a strip in the middle that's again got the same colour as the courtesy crossing. But that actually leads you onto the pavement area that's flat with the road. So again, here it's all flat.
This is tarmac.
No, this is paving.
This is paving.
But the actual, you've got tarmac coming up.
The tarmac being the road.
Yeah, but
Right.
but in between that, you've got like a long strip that's flat with it. I've never seen it before in my life. It's flat, but the same texture, different colour tiles as on the courtesy crossing. Then you've got another strip of tarmac. Then,
Well, the second strip of tarmac is still the road, is it?
well, I don't know because you can't work it out, can you? It did that. If you went to go on the other strip of tarmac, it would take you onto the pavement. I think that's really stupid. You see what I mean? You've got.
I'm trying to work out how drivers find out whether they're on the road or not.
You've got these two people
Well,
here.
you can't really, can you?
Stay exactly where you are, two folks. Look
You've
over
got
that
the
side.
bus stop is here, David. So
Yeah.
the
Well, the bus is nowhere to go, presumably.
You stay there, don't move, don't move.
you can always re-edit, can't you? If you
Yes,
mess up.
yes, I
My
will.
hair look all right. You look beautiful, David.
Right,
So
nice
just
and
stand
close
there.
together, please.
Yeah.
Right, and you're looking at Wilco, not at me.
Oh, we're looking.
Which
if you
way?
just if you say shout, and then David will know where
Yes,
to
if you
look.
look where I am.
Is that okay,
And where
David?
your voice is from, yes, okay, yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Just,
And what's your name again?
positioning, and I'm Keith. He calls-
Keith.
I'm Wilkinson.
And that's
They all call me Wilco, so but it's Keith. Yeah.
Keith.
Keith Wilkinson.
Okay, Keith, there you go.
Okay. So just tell me your names first of all. Your name is,
It's Sarah Gayton.
and that's S-A-R-A-H.
Yeah, Gayton.
Yeah, and you're,
Mine is David Bates, B-A-T-E-S.
yeah, and you're just so we know, you're totally blind
I'm totally blind now,
And
yes,
you
only
went
for the last 10 years.
for 10 years. And are you from this area?
I come from Dudley, which is about 15 miles away.
Right. Okay. Great. Okay. Just for my aid memoir.
Yeah.
That. Okay. So first of all, that's Sarah. You just showed him across the road. What was that like?
It was actually really scary because it was really difficult to explain how the road and the so-called courtesy crossing was laid out, and there's no delineation between the pavement and the road area. So I was scared to show David, and as you saw, when we did get to the courtesy crossings, and they have no legal definition at all in the UK, well, we couldn't actually get across because there was a van there.
And did you really feel like you were in danger doing that?
Yeah, I mean, the scaffolding that was up didn't help, but even if the scaffolding wasn't there, yeah, because there isn't much room, and because there's no curb, there's no natural way of, you know, you're taught as a child, stop at the curb. You know what a curb is, and you know that keeps you off the roadway. That isn't there. So if somebody else was coming, or there was other obstructions on that pavement, you're forced into the road, and you've got traffic coming behind you. I really honestly did not like that experience.
Okay. And David, what was that like for you as a blind person?
Well, from my point of view, I've done exercises like this before. What I normally do, I walk forward, I scan my cane from side to side to pick up obstacles before I bump into them. And so the usual arrangement for crossing a road is you keep on walking till you come to something. This time I came to something, my cane got stuck, I put my hand out and there was something metal. And I thought originally, from what Sarah had said, this was something to do with scaffolding, so I felt along and I felt a handle and I realised it was a vehicle. But I didn't know it was a vehicle at first because I wasn't expecting one to be there.
And today you had Sarah with you, helping you. What would that have been like as an experience on your own?
Well, an area like this, blind people will not come in areas like this because it is a blind person who walks in at the street, they memorise the layout, and so they know where the buildings are, they know where the curb is, they know where the traffic is, and when they're walking they use their cane to work out where they are. And if they walk from the pavement onto the road, they cross the curb, and so they know they are then in the road. But that doesn't work here at all. there's no way for me to tell where I am here at all. So if I was on my own here, and I knew the layout of the buildings, I would keep on walking till I came to a building, then I'd walk along till I came to a door, and I'd try to work out what building it was. But there's no way that it's very difficult to work out this layout, because the traffic doesn't go straight across, it comes in and goes around the corner, doesn't it? And that's very difficult to work out when you can't see anything.
Do you feel that it is dangerous?
It's dangerous, yes, but people like blind people keep away from areas like this, because they are dangerous, especially for blind people, when you can't work out where you are. You can't work out which way you're facing, and if you keep on walking, you don't know where you're going to get to.
Okay.
Can you ask me about the dangerous thing?
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And can I say something else, and then I'll explain why?
Yes, okay. So do you find this dangerous?
Well, actually, from the research that we've done, we found that there's been 5 deaths in these schemes across the country. The last one was a 3-year-old toddler in Jersey, because the parent thought it was pedestrianised, and the child went on and got knocked over and killed. There was a gentleman in Coventry in 2012 that was killed, and when that went to the coroner's court, it said that the scheme was so confusing an accident was bound to happen. There was a little girl, Caitlin, that also got killed on a courtesy crossing in Swindon, and the judge turned to her father and said, "Did you think Caitlin was confused that that was a proper crossing?" Now you have so-called courtesy crossings in Kidderminster. These are going to cause confusions. This area is not safe, and the council needs to act immediately to make this area safe and fully accessible. There has been 14 new schemes across the country so far, and this scheme will have to U-turn.
Can I just make another point that you can use or not use as you wish?
Yes.
Pedestrians are used to crossing the road with pedestrian crossings. A pedestrian crossing of the various sorts gives the pedestrian the right to stop vehicles to cross the road. The shared spaces, the usual arrangement is you take away all the statutory pedestrian crossings, and you tell the pedestrians to cross the road at unofficial crossings, and you tell the motorists that they and the pedestrian have got equal rights. So the pedestrian has the right to cross the road if the motorist stops for him, or if there are no vehicles coming. But otherwise, and this applies in a lot of towns where there's heavy traffic, he just stands and he waits and he waits and he waits until there's a gap in the traffic, then he runs across the road. So that is the system that shared spaces work.
But we asked the Minister for Transport, and the Minister for Transport clearly stated that a pedestrian does not have the right of way over a courtesy crossing. They're not in law, like David said. These courtesy crossings have no legal definition in the UK, so you cannot just walk out across them. But people are told that they can share it equally. It just isn't true.
Okay, that's great.
Right.
Okay, I mean, I know we could go on.
Yeah, no.
We could go on forever.
Can I just do one more little piece?
I think we've probably got. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, David,
Yeah.
you just look across, please. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Just look down at Sarah for a minute, if you can listen to her 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And David, now look towards where Keith is. And back towards Sarah. Okay, Sarah, your turn.
Yeah. Do you want me to? Look at Keith.
Look at Keith.
Yeah.
Look up towards David and listen to David for a second. Just a bit longer than somebody behind you. And now look to Keith. Fantastic.
Is that
So
okay?
we can cut it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the only reason I wanted to say...
Because I'm obviously we're just checking the time before, but because we've got to get back,
That's
and
right.
I've still got to do a piece of cam on that seat, and so I think we've got
It's
so
right.
much material. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It's just if it
Well,
goes for shared content, because I've given them a whole list of other people that they can film across the country.
Right.
If they take up the idea, just wanted to say, tell them about the national. If you let people know that there's a national inquiry going on, because the deadline is Wednesday, and a lot of people don't know that it's on. So we need to. Well, if you can say it, that there's this. Oh, have you got your email or?
Well, I think she sent a lot of stuff to my colleague,
Robin,
who's passed a lot of that on to me, a lot of links and things. But
it's the key detail with the inquiry.
No, don't worry about that. That's great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you ever so much.
No,
Thank you.
Right,
I must press on, otherwise I'm not going to get back in time.
That's right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I'm going to take you away from the road. Right, can I go for a coffee?
No, I'm all right. I've got to get back. 'Cause
Oh, yeah,
I've
you've got to,
I've got to.
Right, well, we're finished now, Morris, have we?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm done for
Right.
today.
But brilliant, well done.
Right.
Right, okay, so
Which way are you walking? Are you?
we've got to
Back
go.
the way I came,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I know then where I'm going.
We're in a car park a fair way away, actually.
David, you've still got your mic on.
Well,
Whose mic is it?
it's mine.
David's.
Oh, right.
I'll turn it off.
The one as you come in and turn left.
I've got to go up some steps. Some steps. Some steps. Some steps. Some steps.